welcome to this week's edition of The Olive Tree with me, Julia Fisher. For the past 2 weeks, my guest has been an Arab Palestinian Christian called Labib Madanat. For many years, he lived in Jerusalem, and today his work takes him across the Middle East as well as Israel, where, on behalf of the Bible Society, he oversees 2 teams. One team is comprised of Messianic Jewish believers, the other is comprised of Arab Palestinian Christians. Labib understands about reconciliation and how important it is to God. So, in this interview, he describes some of the projects and situations that have both encouraged and challenged him recently.
One of the ministries we're involved now with as Bible Societies, Palestinian and Israeli, is work with artists here. This is a project of inviting Palestinian and Israeli artists to read and reflect on biblical passages on the theme of reconciliation and peace from a biblical standpoint. And as they read the text and reflect on it, to come with ideas to produce works of art, which would be an expression of the text. So we hope that those artists, whom be Muslim, Jewish, Christian, doesn't matter what background they are, will be ministered to, that the text will minister to them and will touch their hearts. And then as they are touched by the grace of God, that even their work of art will speak to the public as well. It's a new thing we're doing, we're excited about it, and I pray it will really be another inroad into the art community, bringing the message of the good news of the gospel to them.
So are you saying you're going to mount an exhibition and put it on tour?
We'll start with few pieces of art. Will be displayed in Jerusalem, in Bethlehem and in Nazareth. And then we want to produce more pieces of art to the point that we hope that to come to a point where we can have an exhibit and show it, and even come maybe to London or to other places and show that, because we are aiming for really high quality works of art. And there are some British artists as well involved in this initiative, by the way.
So that's one of the projects you're working on. Can you share with us some of the other ones that are really taking your attention at the moment?
Very much on our hearts is the Bedouins in the Negev. And we are talking as a team on how we can reach the Bedouins in the south of Israel. And we know there are some Messianic congregations, like the congregation in Arad, who have a heart for the Bedouins down in the desert. So we are talking as a team now of a plan to do a combined, a joint outreach, Messianic, Palestinian or Arab, to the Bedouins in the south of Israel. So this is exciting because, Bedouins, their strongest identity is their Bedouin lifestyle rather than religion or nationality. And so we want to go to them and minister to them, build relationships with them, and bring the gospel back to the heartland of Father Abraham.
Are there many Bedouins still left in the Negev in southern Israel?
Oh yes, there are many, many thousands of Bedouins there, sure.
And so what sort of people will reach these Bedouins? I mean, who are you training up to do this work?
It will be some Messianic believers and Arab, Israeli or Palestinian believers as well from East Jerusalem. Maybe we will send them for a course in Jordan, because we are more Bedouin there than maybe other places. There are more Bedouins in Jordan, to train them in the Bedouin lifestyle, what it is like, and so on. I remember my colleague Doron Evan Ari was visiting, before he went to be with the Lord, he was visiting quite a number of Bedouins on the road between Jerusalem and Jericho. And always he was received with such hospitality, with such warmth, and so on. Because once you are received as a guest among Bedouins, especially if they are still living in tents and so on, that's it. You have an open opportunity to speak about whatever you want. You're their guest. When you enter their place, that's it. There's no threat, there's no risk, there is nothing. You're fully protected, you're fully received. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Labib, you carry the heart of an evangelist. You're leading teams that are reaching people in creative ways. But one of the passions I know on your heart is to reach Jewish people as an Arab Palestinian Jordanian Christian. Can you share with our listeners some of the stories that you have experienced?
A couple of weeks ago, I was traveling on the road from Jericho to Nazareth in Jordan Valley, and I crossed a main Israeli checkpoint. So when they asked me, where are you coming from? I said, I'm coming from Jordan, which was true because I've just crossed the border. So they asked me to pull the car to the side, and I did. And they went into a 30 minutes very thorough check of the car, of my things, everything. They took off the tires of the car, the spare, dogs sniffing the car, x-ray machines, everything. Funnily enough, there was another car driven by, seems an Arab Muslim lady, headscarfed. And they just checked her very lightly and let her go. So I said, okay, Lord, there's something you want me to do here. And I was in a hurry, really. It wasn't the best timing for this. And they really do not have to do it because I was just being checked thoroughly at the bridge crossing. I said, okay, I will do what I used to do at the airport, with the security. So I started talking to them and thanking them for being very professional in their work, for really caring for the security and the safety of Israel. And I said, I also care that Israel will live safe and secure. I thanked them for their positive attitude. And I started going into even telling them what have they done and how that was really good. Because I believe we need always to praise good behavior or good actions. Okay? We need to acknowledge goodness. Now, we can say the whole system is messy and is wrong and so on. That's a different story. I'm talking about individuals now. I'm not talking about a system, individuals. And it touches their heart to see people appreciating them for doing a job which everybody thinks it's a bad job. And then I said to them, I have some friends who also serve in the IDF. There are some Messianic believers there. And so they were very amazed. I said, but I have a wonderful friend, Jewish friend, I would like you to meet. And he's really a wonderful guy. And so I said, who is this guy? I said, this is Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. And so that's what I told them. And from there, I started talking to them about Jesus. Then one of them asked me, what is your job? I said, to love the Jews. I said, no, seriously, what is your job? I said, to love the Jews. Eventually, the whole encounter became not about the car and security and so on, but about telling a group of Israeli security people about how wonderful it is to meet Jesus. And the good thing is that and the Lord put that on my heart, is to take the focus from me trying to look like a good Arab to them, from telling them about the good Jewish Jesus, because we want them not to bring glory to ourselves, okay, but for them to turn their attention to Jesus Christ. That's the goal when talking to them. That was really an exciting thing. The other story is yesterday. I went to a clinic to do a stress heart check, and praise God, the results are all wonderful and so on. I'm well stressed and my heart is fine. The doctor who was checking me asked me where do I live. So I told her I live on 55 and Nevi'im. And she knew the place. She said, oh, this beautiful big building and so on. I said to her, yes. What do you do? What do you work? So I told her what do I do. And she said, oh, I have some friends coming from Russia. I would love to bring them. Can I come and visit the place? I said, absolutely, you come, please. And so I gave her the telephone number of the place here. And I gave her my card, and she gave me her card as well. And this cardiologist now, in maybe a couple of weeks, want to bring a small group of guests from Russia, Jews and non-Jews, to come and visit the place. Another opportunity. People are opportunity in a positive sense. Another situation, I was traveling from Amman to Jerusalem across the Allenby Bridge. I was sitting with this guy on the bus. It was hot, a long trip, crossing into Israel, and a big hassle on the border. Nobody likes it. Soldiers, everything. It is not a good trip usually. And I was sitting next to a person, and we started a discussion. It got to religious talk very easy in the Middle East. So I told him about Jesus and how Jesus taught us, love your neighbor as yourself. So he said, oh, we have this also in Islam. And I know there are some wonderful things written in the Quran. That's not the problem I have with the Quran. And then I told him, but who is my neighbor? I told him this was asked to Jesus. And Jesus said the story of the Good Samaritan, which I told him. I told him, for example, now we are crossing the river. And here are Israeli soldiers. What do you think about them? And sure, he gave me the normal story, what he thinks. I told him, well, according to the instructions of Jesus, we are supposed to bless them. And so as a Christian, I'm asked by Jesus now to bless them, to pray for them, to seek their blessings and their life. He was absolutely shocked. This is not something you do. But that was the message to him. That was the uniqueness of Jesus. And I felt very good doing that. And after that, I finished the journey. I came to Israel. I went to an office of the ministry in Israel here. And I was really treated badly. And I was not happy at all. And I reacted even in a way which was not the way I always want to react. But then my talk to that guy came back to my mind, and the Lord reminded me about that. So I returned in my mind, and I asked the Lord for forgiveness. Not because I didn't have the right to be upset, but because this right I give up once I say I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm upset, but then I should speak blessings to the others, to people maybe who hurt me. One thing I learned is that the more we share Christ, the more we talk about the message of reconciliation and forgiveness, the more we will be challenged regarding this message. Because Satan wants to put us at a test. God doesn't want to test us, but Satan wants to test us and to prove to us that we are hypocrites. But by the grace of God, our words and our actions will be the same.
Labib Madanat, an Arab Palestinian Christian, sharing the challenges of living out his faith in Israel and the wider Middle East. If you would like to listen to this program again, you can do so by visiting our website, olivetreefund.org. You're listening to The Olive Tree with me, Julia Fisher. And the Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund is a Christian charity based in the UK that supports the needs of both Jewish believers and Arab Christians living in Israel and the wider Middle East. If you would like to know more about our work and receive our free bi-monthly newsletter, please either visit our website, olivetreefund.org, or write to me, Julia Fisher, at the Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund, P.O. Box 850, Horsham, RH12 9GA in the UK. Meanwhile, do join me at the same time next week for another story from the Olive Tree. Until then, goodbye.